In this video, I'm going to share with you how to find your past lives through your astrology birth chart. It's super simple, super easy, and anyone can do it. Past lives are fascinating, and each one of us has had a past life. Matter of fact, you've had many, many, many lifetimes because you are an infinite being. Your soul signed up to constantly learn and grow to higher states of awareness and higher states of consciousness. So you can't just be tied to one experience or one lifetime, because you have experienced so much life on not just Earth but other planes of existence too. And there's some of us that have always had a strong knowing within that we have lived many lifetimes. Maybe you've had visions or dreams or just a strong gut feeling since a child, since you were younger, or maybe you went through a spontaneous spiritual awakening that helped you remember, or at least very strong parts of who you are. And the thing is, we're born with amnesia, so we don't remember our lifetimes, we don't remember our past experiences, because it could be quite a detriment to our now journey. And that is why some people can actually not believe in past lives, because they don't have memory of past lives, they don't remember past lives, they feel so disconnected to the idea of past lives because of perhaps the religion they grew up with, the beliefs they grew up with, or because they don't have an inner knowing or yearning. And that's okay, because everyone is on their unique journey. Some people will feel called, very strongly called, to explore their past lives, their soul's history, and there's some people that will totally not be about it, and to each to their own. Like I said, it's not for everyone, although it can be for everyone if you want it to be. Now, one could say, why focus on past lives when you should be focusing on your now and your future that you are co-creating? And that's a great statement. I'm not going to argue with that, but there's some of us that feel like we really need to do some past life healing, some past life soul healing, so that we can understand our now and also co-create our future. Some of us have been seeking answers throughout our life, throughout many lifetimes, and we come to this incarnation with a strong mission of uncovering, unveiling the past, the karma, cycles, the blocks, the mysteries, the hidden aspects of ourself. We want to understand and learn more about our gifts and our abilities and who we are and what we came here to be. So, like I said earlier, some people have a strong calling and some people feel like it just doesn't make any practical, logical sense, and that's totally fine. And I believe the most safest way to really understand your past lives is through astrology, because it doesn't require you to be under regression. It doesn't require someone else to go into your Akashic. And I believe hypnotherapy and someone going into your Akashic is not always the safest. I don't believe everyone is ready for that level of awakening or adventure. I mean, exploring hypnotherapy can have a lot of implications, and I don't think people are very aware of it. Like, there can be some severe implications if you are not mentally ready for that type of experience. You have to be at a certain level in your journey, and you have to be extremely mentally and spiritually prepared for that level of awakening and adventure. So it's not something I would recommend, nor would I recommend for everyone to get an Akashic reading, because that also can open a can of worms. So to me, past life regression and going through your Akashic, they're very advanced spiritual tools and techniques, and I wouldn't advise everyone to work with them. However, everyone can learn about past lives through astrology. And like I said, I believe it to be the most safest form of exploring your past lives. So that being said, I'm going to share with you 4 simple places to look at to find out your past lives and your past life themes. So keep on watching. The first place to look at is the South Node. Everyone has a South Node in their astrology birth chart. It's not a planet, it's a mystical point that is calculated when the moon's orbital path crosses the ecliptic. And the South Node is so key when it comes to your past lives, the energies that you have experienced several lifetimes again and again and again, the key themes and energies and emotions that are following you from lifetimes and lifetimes and have manifested in your now. It's an energy that you're so used to, so familiar with. Now, the nodes change signs every 18 months, so I wouldn't pay that much attention to the sign your nodes are in, but more so the house, the area of life where the South Node is placed, because that area of life is going to be extremely karmic. And by karmic, I mean it's an energy that has been showing up in your soul's history, in your soul's adventure, in your soul's souls experience again and again and again. And that area of life is going to be very profound, very relevant, and something that you're so used to. A classic example would be if you have your South Node in the 7th house. This would show someone whose identity and their many lifetimes has been wrapped around other people, relationships, marriage. Maybe there has been a lot of confrontation, a lot of conflict that this person has had to experience, and relationships can be extremely karmic. It's something that they crave so much, or they're probably always in a relationship, or their marriage is very intense. It's an energy that's been playing up again and again for that person for many lifetimes and still continues to play it for this lifetime. Now, although it's an energy that they're so familiar with, so used to, it's not necessarily an energy that they have to explore in this lifetime. They simply have to take on those lessons and move towards their North Node, which is opposite the South Node, which would be in the 1st house. And that would mean that this person really needs to focus on who they are, their identity, their soul's mission and purpose, and how to be free and independent and find out who they are without the influence of others, without the influence of a relationship or a marriage. And that could perhaps be a bit difficult for the person to do because they're so used to being in a relationship, or they're so used to being around people. There could also be some type of theme around codependency. So in this lifetime, because the North Node reveals the energy you're headed towards and that you're moving into is in the 1st house of self and identity, this person needs to learn independence and freedom and really activate their sacred flame, the sacred fire within them to fulfill their soul's mission in this lifetime. So although the South Node can reveal so much about the energies that have been reoccurring in your many lifetimes and the energy you're used to and very familiar with, it's not necessarily an energy that you have to surrender to or continue to explore, because in fact you've actually explored it so much that your soul is tired of it now. It's done what it needed to do. You've learned many lessons from that energy, those cycles, and now it's time to move into the North Node, which will always be opposite the South Node. So just remember that. Another area that you can look at to learn about your past lives is the 12th house in your birth chart. Now, the 12th house is a final house in your astrology birth chart. Look at what the AC is, the ascendant is, and right before that is the 12th house. And that is a very introspective energy. It's a very mystical, magical, otherworldly energy, territory, house, area of life. And that is actually the energy that can also represent the womb, the incarnations we've had prior to our life in this time and space. It could also reveal your star family, your soul tribe, your soul frequency, your psychic gifts and abilities, and so forth. But when it comes to past lives, the 12th house is a key player. It will reveal to you past life themes that you've also experienced. So when you're looking at your 12th house, look at the sign your 12th house is in, look at the planets in your 12th house, because those energies will reveal to you past life themes that have been extremely strong. It's similar to the South Node energy in the sense of those themes and emotions and experiences will be in your memory field. You'll be holding on to them, carrying on to them, and it may be very easy to fall into the 12th house and find it to be like your safety blanket. But the 12th house being the most mystical area of life in your chart, there's many dimensions and layers to it. So you have to be very careful that you don't fall into the trap of the 12th house and then stay in your comfort zone. It's important to get out of there and do what you need to do in this lifetime so you can succeed in your soul's mission, your reason for incarnation. For example, if you have the moon in your 12th house, that would reveal that your past life experiences when it comes to the feminine, your mother, grandmother, significant women and females, your identity as a woman, your emotions, your psychic abilities, ancestral wounds and karma, like they are going to be extremely strong in this lifetime. And because your soul has experienced so much sensitivity and so much emotion, that it will be natural for you to just swim in your ocean of emotion, and you may feel very isolated emotionally or very detached from this world, and perhaps you just naturally like to dive into your spiritual realm because that's what feels like home, that's what feels like your escapism. But you have to be extremely careful, like I said earlier, because the 12th house can be a very trickster energy too, where you can feel like you're so comfortable there you don't want to get out, and it can be a detriment to your soul's evolution. And speaking of the moon in astrology is also another very strong placement that you can look at to find out about your past lives. In fact, when I'm reading astrology charts, the first place that I actually look at is not the sun, it's not the rising, it's the moon. Because the moon reveals to me someone's soul stripped and naked, instead of the facade, the layers, a persona they're trying to put up. No, it shows me who they really are. And the moon is our emotions, it's our sensitivity, it's how we want to be nurtured, it's our emotional love language, it's also our subconscious, a part of us that we are super, super protective of, and we hide, we don't reveal it to everyone. And why? Because it carries a lot of secrets. It definitely carries a lot of secrets. That's why a lot of people will show you their sun, their Venus, their rising. You'll see all that on a plate, but the moon is something they keep so secretive and so safe, and they hold it so tightly because they don't want to reveal who they really are. They don't want to reveal their soul because they feel vulnerable. They feel scared and afraid to share that part of themselves because it's such a sensitive part to who they are. So if you want to learn more about the emotional experiences that you have had as a human in your past lives that are still continuing on in this lifetime that your soul's carrying on, also when it comes to your ancestral karma, your moon will reveal that. Also, when it comes to your psychic gifts and your abilities, your creativity, your intuition, your moon will reveal that. The final place that I'm going to share with you to find out more about your past lives is probably not so well known of, and that is the 4th house. Now, typically in astrology, you would associate the 4th house with your home, your family, and depending on which lens you're looking at it from, your matriarchal ancestry, or some people see it as a patriarchal. I see it as a mother energy, but I understand depending on the context, those roles can reverse. But putting all that aside, if you look at the 4th house, it's right at the bottom. Right at the bottom of our chart, in the darkness, hiding. It's the base of our chart, the foundation of our chart. That's why it is considered our sense of safety, our sense of security when it comes to where we go to rejuvenate and heal. But the 4th house is the base of the tree of life. It's the roots, the core roots. And those roots are connected to your past lives. Now, specifically if you want to work with family karma and healing, or healing the mother wound or the father wound, this would be a great place to look at because there is so much mystery and so much wealth of spiritual wisdom that awaits in the 4th house. But also when it comes to any other part of your life that you want to learn about and how it's connected to your past lives, because when you look at the 4th house, when you look at the roots, all those roots are connected to every area, every part, every crevice of your chart. That's why it creates that tree of life. So when you look at your chart and you want to understand your relationships, you want to understand your career, you want to understand your health, you want to understand your identity, your family, connect it back to the 4th house, because there is an extreme correlation, a significance, a connection. They are intertwined. So the 4th house can reveal much about your past lives too. Whether you have planets in the 4th house or not, look at the sign that is occupying the 4th house. Look at the ruler of the 4th house and where it's positioned, because that will reveal so much about your past lives, the emotional experiences you've had, the themes that are continuing when it comes to family karma and family healing, when it comes to inner child work, when it comes to every area of your life that is connected to the past, that is connected to the roots. The 4th house will reveal that to you. So let's break down the 4 areas that you can look at to find out more about your past lives. Number 1, the South Node. The South Node in your astrology chart reveals where you come from, the experiences you've had, the energies that you are super familiar with, and the themes and the emotions, just the adventure that you have been on through several lifetimes that have developed your soul. The South Node will reveal that. Although I have to say the South Node is not an energy that you need to put into practice because it's something that is your default. You need to look at the opposite, which is the North Node and where that's positioned, because that will reveal to you what you need to work on, what you need to practice more of to develop in your soul's journey. The next place you can look at to find out more about your past lives is the 12th house, one of the most magical, mystical areas of life that can reveal to you your past soul's experiences, not just pertaining to this earthly realm, but other planes of existence too. So you can definitely learn quite a lot about your past lives. Another place is the moon. The moon is the core of who you are. It lives within you. You live and breathe it every single day, and that is continuing on from many lifetimes. Your emotional experiences, the experiences you've had with others when it comes to relationships, when it comes to nurturing, when it comes to your sensitivities, when it comes to any emotional chaos or karma you've gone through, family karma, ancestral karma, inner child karma, that is all connected to the the moon, and also when it comes to your psychic and spiritual gifts, the moon will reveal that because it's an energy that has been reoccurring from lifetimes and lifetimes. And last but not least, the fourth house, another mystical, magical area of life. It's a tree of life. The roots begin there, so it will connect you to every energy that is connected to your past life. You just have to learn how to adapt, adjust your energy to it, work more with it, and surrender to it, and it will connect you to every other part of your chart. So the South Node, the 12th house, the moon, and the 4th house are great beginner places to look at to learn more about your past lives in astrology. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it awakened you to new aspects of yourself, and I hope you understand that you are not just who you are right now. There are many different aspects to you. In fact, what if I said that you're not just one soul, you're made out of many different souls? I don't know how you take that, but we can maybe dive into that in another episode. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Share me your thoughts down below, leave a comment, like, subscribe, tap on the notification bell so you don't miss out on brand new episodes, and also connect with me on TikTok, and I'll see you in another video. Lots of love.